السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله من بعثه الله رحمة ومبشرا ونذيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله الأبرار وصفوة الأصحاب. اللهم اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أما بعد، عباد الله، فإني أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل القائل في محكم كتابه: أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال أيضا: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Brothers and sisters, inshallah, our khutbah today is about Al-Qana'ah. It's a word in Arabic that means contentment. Now, it's a noun. Al-Qana'ah is a noun which denotes the condition where one is satisfied with something and one has sufficiency for one's needs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 28, وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَزِينَتُهَا وَمَا عِندَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. And whatever thing you people have been given, it is only for the enjoyment of worldly life and its adornment. And what is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is better and more lasting. So why will you not reason? Now, we've come to be so consumed by greed and takathur, that is exuberance and competing with one another in amassing wealth and abandoning wealth, that we've lost sight of the importance of al-qana'ah, or contentment. A Muslim must remember the countless blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon him, the blessings around him, and a Muslim must match them with praises and gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and know that however dire one's situation or one's condition is, that he's always much better than others. As we all pass through life looking at people and materialistic things around us, we often tend to look at the people that are always above us, and we always desire to be like them. But Islam advises us to look at those below us and feel content in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided us. As Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in a hadith, that انظروا إلى من هو أسفل منكم ولا تنظروا إلى من هو فوقكم فإنه أجدر أن لا تصدروا نعمة الله. What this means is that look at those that are inferior to you, and do not always be looking at people that are superior to you, for this will keep you from belittling Allah's favor on you. This was reported by Bukhari and Muslim. Now, before I continue, I'd like to share this sort of very commonly cited anecdote about a poor man who was completely paralyzed, blind, and also a leper. Yet, he was so content and at peace with himself that he used to constantly make this dua. All praise be to Allah who saved me from that which He's afflicted others, and blessed me greatly over many of these whom He has created. Now, while making this dua, a man passing by heard him and was surprised, because this is this man's condition. And he asked him, "Saved you from what? You are so poor, you're a leper, you're paralyzed, you're blind. What have you been saved from? What affliction has Allah saved you from?" And this poor man replied, "How could you say that? Allah has given me a tongue that is in constant remembrance of Him, a heart that is in constant gratitude towards Him, and a body that is in constant patience over its afflictions. What else can I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?" Now, suddenly, this righteous man put the matter into perspective for the questioner, and anyone who wishes to contemplate deeply, genuinely and sincerely, on the true meaning of blessings. Now, contentment is not the fulfillment of what you want, but the realization of how much you already have. Now, which is why Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Al-Qana'ah kanzun la yafna." And what this means is contentment is a treasure that never gets exhausted. If you're content, you never run out of reasons to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Admittedly, developing contentment is very difficult in these modern times. We have this sort of compulsive consumerism, and we have this culture of throwing everything away and getting new things. We're constantly seeking what is the next big thing, the next best phone, phones with 3 cameras, phones with 4 cameras. Only Allah knows what these cameras are for. People getting themselves into serious debts over new cars that they cannot afford, and trying to match the lifestyles of their neighbors at all costs. And the depression in young people is very high because they're not content with their looks. People are constantly altering their looks in order to achieve contentment. We know people that are resorting to other means, taking drugs, taking alcohol, in order to come into terms with all of these pressures and to feel content with themselves. And how many times have we heard about people being so anxious and so worried about an upcoming event or something that is they're about to do in the future, but then never live to actually witness those events? How many times? Let's listen to what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that man asbaha minkum aminan fi sirbihi mu'afan fi jasadihi عنده قوت يومه فكأنما حيزت له الدنيا. What that means is that whoever amongst you wakes up in the morning secure in his dwelling with a roof over his head, healthy in his body, having his food for the day, then it is as if the world has been gathered for him. Now let's remember what this hadith is saying, especially about the food for the day. What Rasul was referring to was about our daily, what is referred to our daily bread. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized on this, food for the day. Rasul did not say, let's complain about the dry bread that we had yesterday, or the food that wasn't, or the chicken that didn't have any taste that we had yesterday. Nor did he say anything about us worrying about the bread for tomorrow, or how is the chicken for tomorrow going to taste? Is it going to be seasoned? No, today's bread or chicken is the only kind of bread or chicken that you can possibly eat. All you need to live as though you actually own the world is the food for today, halas. You don't need anything about yesterday or anything about tomorrow. Consider with me, brothers and sisters, the lifestyle of the Prophet ﷺ was a very, very simplistic lifestyle characterized by simplicity with him and his Sahaba. Most of them, like Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiallahu anhu, they came into Islam very, very wealthy, with a lot of wealth. But then they spent all of this wealth in the cause of Allah, and they led a very, very frugal life. Now, they were surrounded by neighbors like the Persians, the Romans, who were blessed with sort of wealth and opulence. MashaAllah. But then, the Muslims knew that true wealth is self-wealth, and the happiness of heart, and the integrity, peace of mind, and the calmness of mind, which is obtained from Al-Qana'ah, from contentment. Us today, we're blessed with good health, alhamdulillah, good living, a variety of food and drink, clothing, comfortable roofs over our heads, good healthcare facilities, and an endless array of entertainments. Yet we're never content until greed and anxiety drives us into our graves, as Allah said in the Quran, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرَ. There is a very, very important dua that Rasulullah used to recite, and I'm going to share it with you, inshallah, which is Allahumma qanni'ni bima razaqtani wa barik li fihi wa akhluf ala kulli ghaibatin li bi khayri. Which means, oh Allah, make me feel content with this sustenance you have provided me with. Give me your blessing in it and replace what I have lost with what is better. This was reported by Al-Hakim. This dua comprises some very, very important guidelines that we should all live by. The human attitude towards the sustenance and sharing one's livelihood with others are at the heart of the Islamic concept of Al-Qana'ah and the Quranic concept of good and wholesome life, which is referred in the Quran so many times as Hayat al-Tayyibah. Now the Arabic root of the word Qana'ah is about embracing with open arms or approaching something face to face. So one only embraces something with open arms when one is satisfied that that thing is sufficient for one's needs. Therefore, Qana'ah infers satisfaction in the nafs or in the self. But then what other thing we should know is Qana'ah or contentment has to satisfy two conditions. So it involves, it's a movement of accepting and also surrendering. To be content and have the satisfaction with what one has is not enough. But one has to make a further step, or one has to take a further step by relinquishing or by abandoning greed for material things beyond one's needs. You do not spend your life looking for material things that are actually beyond your needs, things that you actually don't need for your immediate needs. Greed takes different forms, including urges, fondness, and these things often lead you to issues such as addiction and so on and so forth. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم الجليل لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبي المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Nahl, من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون. Whoever does righteousness, whether a male or a female, while he is a believer, we will surely grant him a wholesome life, again a mention of Hayat Tayyibah, and we will surely give them their reward in the hereafter according to the best of what they used to do. Some scholars of tafsir assert that the phrase a good wholesome life or Hayat Tayyibah also refers to the feeling of Al-Qana'ah, or the feeling of contentment, which Allah bestows on a person, such that one feels sufficient with what one has in the world. Now, a scholar in the 19th century, Imam Shihab al-Din Sayyid Mahmud, recounted that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught that the correct interpretation of the phrase Hayat Tayyibah, or the good wholesome life, is contentment. Although other scholars have given different interpretation to it, but then all those different interpretations drive towards exactly the same meaning. There are so many other interpretations I'm not going to go through today. So the most pious people are provided with limited resources, provisions in any case. Now, the important point here is not the amount of provision, but the human behavior in relation to the worldly materials. With contentment as a praiseworthy character trait, pious people are grateful and happy with whatever lawful means provided to them. Dear brothers and sisters, another term very similar to Al-Qana'ah is Rida, or acceptance or compliance. The word Rida most often denotes the acceptance of fate and divine decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, this acceptance requires people to be tolerant and compliant with whatever circumstances that confronts them, what they find themselves in, whether it is comfortable or distressful. So Rida, in this case, or in this sense, shares something in common with Al-Qana'ah. Some ulama also said that since Rida is one of the states which belongs in the heart and is not attained by the efforts made by the servant of Allah, it may be considered as the end product of Al-Qana'ah. In other words, people who exert efforts in being grateful with what they have and what they have not, and they have not surrendered to greed, are also doing Rida. This can be said regarding Al-Qana'ah as well. Let's finish this with the hadith that Rasul with a quotation from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Man yastaghni yughnihu Allah wa man yaqna' yuqni'uhu Allah. What this means is, he who seeks to achieve a state of sufficiency, Allah will render him free of need. Allah would grant him that state of sufficiency. And whoever strives to be content with Allah, whatever situation he finds himself in, Allah would make him content. As Allah said in Surah Al-Hud, ayah 6, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. There is no creature on earth but that upon whom Allah is its provision. صلوا على خير خلق الله محمد بن عبد الله فإن الله قد أمركم بذلك وقال أفضل من قائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما وقال من عليه أفضل الصلاة والتسليم وأتم التسليم من صلى علي مرة صلى الله عليه بها 10. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ورضي الله عن الأربعة الخلفاء الأئمة الخلفاء أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن بقية أصحاب النبي والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وأنا معهم بمنك وكرمك يا أكرم الأكرمين ويا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك واهد المشركين وانصر عبادك الموحدين واهد عوزة الدين يا رب العالمين. اللهم آمنا في أوطاننا وآمن المسلمين جميعا في أوطانهم واصلح أئمتنا وولاة أمورنا ولا تجعل ولايتنا وولاة غيرنا في من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. اللهم اغفر لأمهاتنا ولأمهات المسلمين ولآبائنا الأحياء منهم والأموات. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله العظيم الجليل يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وقوموا إلى صلاتكم.